well, I think we've got what is the situation on the ground, the public, what is the public feeling around the census? We're having a bit of a problem around hotels.
We're not only having a bit of a problem, we're having a major problem.
Where?
The census, finally, we discover through a lot of crisis management, is about logistics and human resources management. It's negligibly about statistics. The statistics, once you've gone through this careful process of designing the questionnaire, are relatively easy after you've captured the data. What it is about planning how you're going to recruit and train an army of 80,000 people.
At midnight, on the 9th of October 1996, the census began.
A census is like a torrent. It's like a volcano. Once it has erupted, nobody, no amount of technology, no amount of effort can stop it from rolling.
First to be enumerated for the first time in South Africa were the homeless.
When are you born? 1962. And the month?
2nd February.
2nd February. 02.
I'm not working.
Where are you staying at the moment?
Yes, it's hanging around. Yes, around.
You understand this is for, we are counting the people that are staying, they've got no homes and things like that, right?
No, sir.
Okay, thanks for your cooperation, and we hope that something can be done for you, all right? Okay, thank you.
And so began a process in which 80,000 enumerators traveled 10 million kilometers either by car, bicycle, motorcycle, on foot, and even on horseback to get to the approximately 9 million households in South Africa.
The promise we made, the promise we keep. Iso leso sikhathi sesifikile isikhathi manje sesihambe safika laphana ku-25 to 7 uRose uzoba khona manje e-studio sizokunikeza nawe-ke isikhathi lapho ekhaya ukuthi ukwazi ukushaya phela laphana ku-4430584 ulahlele noma ubuze lapho ungabuza khona. Ibaluleke kancane i-census uma uthanda ukwazi hlala nathi sihlale nawe 89.1 Alex FM. It's my name, together with Mkolisi Gutman Buthelezi. In the studio with us, we have Miss Rosie Letswalo. She is the spokesperson, shall I say the spokeswoman, for the Census 96, right in the people station.
Well, Census 96 started last night. We started counting the homeless people in the streets, and we even tried to give them breakfast this morning. And then I will say in those areas that has got some problems, it will start. And that will be very soon, and I'll know, let's say tomorrow, some of them will start. I know this is the first democratic census, and that is where we'll have some hassles, but it's nothing that we can solve.
How are they going to ukubala
these aliens, labantu laba baphuma ngaphandle, are they going to be rating out as South African citizens, or ma approach umuntu fanambuzo ukuthi are you an alien or are you a South African citizen or something like that?
All right. On the question of illegal immigrants, the reason why we've got to count them is because we count everybody that is on the soil of South Africa. Whether you are just a tourist or you are an illegal immigrant or a South African citizen. But now, on our questions, we should also bear in mind that the Central Statistical Service does not work in hand with Home Affairs or the receiver of revenue.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tracy, for coming through.
It's our pleasure.
Okay, it is gone 9 after 7 regulation, the People Station 89.1, and that's how we wrap up all about Census 96.
Igama lami ngufika nguRoni wakampisani sename yami. Ngisebenza nomsebenzi waSENSUS ngiyanumerator. Ngihlala la eBhambayi. Nginumerator ngale eceleni la kaB. Ekhona la ngaphakathi eBhambayi. La ngingasizakala khona mangithatha ngikubheka engazuthi kungasiza kakhulu ukuthi uhulumeni akwazi kahle ukusdeliver into zethu njengama hospital nezinye izinto ukuthi azi ukuthi mangabe indawo ethize inabantu abaningi. Ngoba inabantu abaningi nje yini okudinga ukuthi mayiye khona. Ilapho ilezo zinto esingasizakala kuzona. Ngicabanga ukuthi uhulumeni esinawo ucabange ngendlela okuyiyona yona impela uma ukwazi ukuthi uqala ukuthi usenze liSENSUS wazi ukuthi bangakanani abantu abangasebenzi ukuze wazi ukuthi bangakanani abantu okusafuneka igovernment isebenzele phe kwabe bazamele imisebenzi. Ushuthi i-toilet olisebenzisayo yiliphi? I-toilet lomgodi noma inhloboni ye-toilet?
Ile lomgodi.
Okay. Ilokhuzane lokhu la uchitha khona udoti dam.
Njoba ngibone ngufaka ngale.
Ilokhuzaneni, okay.
Ebhini usuke ngilahla.
Yeah. Mangabe ufuna ukuyofona wenza njani?
Ukufunani?
Ukuyofona.
Ukufona.
Ushaye ucingo.
Hayi ngizingalishaya ke nje ucingo imali anginayo ukushaya anginayo imali.
Okay. Usebenzisa lendlu kuphela?
Yebo iyona kuphela le. Enye yabhidli ke isicelile njoba nale bhidli nje umbona sempheshile.
Okay.
Whether it was a squatter household or a Houghton household, the aim was that the country had been parceled up into handleable units of about 150 households in the same way for each kind of milieu or each kind of area, and that people were interviewed or had the chance to fill in the questionnaire for themselves in the same way. Previously, there were different methodologies, and in particular, townships which were considered politically inaccessible to the old regime, or squatter camps which were too difficult, or rural areas which were too expensive, were handled differently. Perhaps the employers were asked in a mine hostel to tell us who was in there, instead of the people having the chance to speak for themselves. Or perhaps the area was overflown with aerial photographs, and then the population was imputed on the basis of the number of dwellings that was identified. That kind of mess of conflicting methodologies was what characterized the last effort, and this time it was the same census for everybody.
As the count began, problems remained. The Nebo issue still demanded attention. Pali Lehotla and Deputy Minister Isop Pahad went to try and sort out the problem.
We are having certain priorities as communities on the ground. The priorities that we have, among the others, is a question of a border dispute, which has been now in discussion for over 2.5 years by the government. And then earlier on, before the census started, we made our appeal to the President and Deputy President Thabo Mbeki with regard to the problems we are facing here. We made them aware that we are not opposed in principle to the question of censuses. We want to be part of that, we want to be counted, because we are the residents of these areas. But unfortunately, our concern and our appeal was not addressed.
Today, a child is born. 6 years later, that child will have to go to school. 18 years later, that child will have to have a job. 25 years later, that child may be a man and want to marry. And therefore, there must be an area where they should build a house and so on. 60 years later, because you are an African and you don't live that long, your life expectancy is much shorter, you will die, and there must be a grave for you. So a census provides you with this information for which you can plan 40 years ahead of us. And well, I don't want to go into the border dispute, but I don't know whether really we should hold this instrument that will help us to plan 40 years ahead of us for our children at ransom because we have a border dispute.
No, why do you say no? So, you don't want to participate? That's your democratic right. Please don't participate. But those who want to participate, please allow them to participate. That is the position.
Well, I would say no doubt the census is in trouble in this area. There is definitely no doubt about that. And obviously it's very depressing to find that that situation prevails. And it's also very depressing to find that these people are throwing the baby with the bathwater. And in the process, it is the lives of their children and their future generations that is at risk, rather than of themselves.
Praat julle meestal hierso?
Ons praat ons die Nama en Afrikaans.
Afrikaans en Nama.
Al twee is maar gelijk. Ons skakel baie vandag oor Afrikaans.
Praat julle meestal Afrikaans
of
praat julle meestal
Afrikaans
Nama?
Of die taal, maar al twee is maar net wat voorkom.
Wat is julle kerkverband?
Nou, ek was die enigste ou wat aangeneem is en daai dag wat ek aangeneem is. Het ek vir my ook skuldig gemaak word. Ek gee ek met die merk dat ek wel in naam van die Here graag wil hervestig wees. Word hervestig. As ek hervestig, maar die ding so gekom, dat ek meer na die velde toe gaan, ek velde nou los die kerk.
Is enige een van julle wat trekarbeiders is? Dit beteken julle gaan weg van die plek af om te gaan werk.
Ons het baie rond gegaan. En dit is nou onze koers was eindelijk zo.
Gaan jullie nou nog?
Ja, die pad was onze woning geweest, terwille van arbeid trek. Maar nu zitten ze hier, zitten ze nou.
Gaan hier niemand wat nou nog rondgaan om te werken?
Nee, dat is een jaar werk, dus hier nou.
Ja, het is nou wat een ras is.
Ach, ik weet niet, als ik nou zeg, San of Bushman. San, ek weet nie, dit is maar net by my is dit by een. As mense my sê Bushman, ek is okay, San, ek is alright. Maar mens is ek mis.
Oké, baie dankie meneer.
Ja.
Dat is al wat ek wil geweten.
Ja.
South Africa, having been a country divided along race lines, and basically evolving out of that being the allocation of resources along racial lines, we would be doing ourselves a disservice if we cannot know the race of people. That is the one intrinsic reason why South Africa should retain a race question. In whatever it does, it has to classify information by race. But we also learn from international experience that any population census of the States, of Australia, of the UK, they also ask questions around race.
Going to Alzheimer 32, where we had that refusal of Amin who didn't want to fill in the forms and everything.
Yeah,
So
okay.
now I'm taking you there because I have a problem with him.
What did he say? What is the reason for that?
Well, I don't know. He said like you already filled in the forms and everything, so I don't know what his problem is. And I don't think so because census night started on the 10th and
Okay.
everything, so I don't think
By that time we didn't have forms, right?
No.
So it's just a thing that he doesn't want to.
Misunderstanding, yes. he
But we
doesn't
were
want
saying
to.
you have left a form there by his house, right?
Yes.
Okay, then we're going in now.
Het is ook Spaan, man. Het is Spaan.
Sorry, dear, sorry.
Yes, Mama. How are you?
That's Poppy. Michelle told me they've left a form here by your house, and then we were thinking of maybe coming to see what is the problem, if we can resolve the problem, you know, and maybe take it up from there.
I don't work, I'm out of job, and I just feel that people can use this information, especially, and I totally refuse to fill any census in. I don't worry who object and who reject. Even they can take me further, even up to Mandela's office also.
You know, as a leader in this community, you fully understand. I mean, you are the one who was preaching. What is census all about? I mean, you know what is it for. It won't be for that wrong information. I'm in the same boat as yourself, and you know exactly what is the purpose of census, definitely. As you have just mentioned, you're out of work, you know, the condition of your house, you know exactly what is it all about.
Yeah, but working years for the government here, we are waiting, house must be transferred. Just look all the cracks. When it rains, the rain comes from the roof. Now, working sitting in a chamber, you say, the house has not been transferred, the rest has not been a scrap. I've been working all those years, my life off, haven't got a job, and still people go out and say, kyk hoe lyk die ding, die werk nie, om kinders langer is 'n honger on. Now I'm afraid if I must fill in this form, people know more about my personal life, and they can use that against me to threaten me and smear me.
Okay, then I will ask you to sign me the refusal letter, you know, to say that no, you don't have to state reasons here. As you have mentioned, I've noted 2 of your reasons, but then let's just have the refusal letter.
Many of the problems the enumerators encountered had little to do with the census itself, but were problems of a society still deeply divided.
I'm from CENSUS, actually. I'm here to interview you, please. Can you please let me in?
What do you want?
I'm from CENSUS. CENSUS. I'm an enumerator from CENSUS. CENSUS, madam. CENSUS. CENSUS. You are the ones who are counting people.
Oh, what are you bringing?
We are counting people. Can you please maybe come closer to the gate so I can...
When I don't know what are you, why madam is not here.
Oh, madam is not here. Okay.
Open you shall say, you know this time is very bad day outside.
Okay.
Friday, I can't open you. Okay. Phone the madam and a cellular phone. You got a phone there?
No, I haven't got any cellular phone.
Okay, man, I phone madam. I can't open you. I tell you I can't open you. Nothing.
Okay, can you please just explain to madam that I'm from CENSUS, the ones who are counting people. Sibiyaku CENSUS. Imlopa. Ninjani. Askon. Sibiyale ku census ithi laba samba si counter abantu. Abantu. Yebo. Ngela nje ye census ngakhomba.
Some of the awkwardnesses and difficulties of our own society were reflected in the reasons for the undercount. We couldn't get many white enumerators volunteering for the kind of money we were able to pay in Johannesburg. Now, it would obviously be more comfortable to have a white enumerator cover a predominantly white suburb. We couldn't. So young black university student volunteers were walking around wealthy suburbs with these huge high walls, perhaps seeing for the first time households amazingly well off by comparison with things that they were experienced with. Their confidence about calling back again or persisting to get entrance, whether the household trusted them. All of these meant that our hangover of bad race relations in this country vexed the enumeration process, especially where you had black enumerators in well-off white suburbs. But even in those white suburban areas, we are confident of a single figure undercount. And you set that against what you experience in a squatter camp, where our enumerator walks in with her or his yellow jacket, and a queue of people rush out from all the households and say, count us in, we're next, how about us? And in those areas, if the undercount is more than 1%, we'd be surprised. Now, the average of that across the nation is going to give us a really close figure that, in our context, be very acceptable indeed for the money.
Understand, by school in?
Standard 6.
Ikiphi indawo eXopo? SeXopo nje.
SeXopo nje.
Lo msebenzi ngithi unzima ngoba isikakhulu abantu bengakazi kahle hle ukuthi kuqhubeka yini ingempela ngempela, kanti njengoba kade kusanda kuba nempi phakathi kwey'nhlangano la ey'mbili, i-ANC ne-IFP. Shuthi abantu baye babuze ukuthi ngabe akuxhumile yini kuloko, omunye agcina enqabile nje ukumbhala, sibuye silokho sincenga-ke sile siphindaphinda ikhaya elilodwa siyoncenga ukuthi aze avume ukusinika imininingwane. Ingako ngiwubona ulukhuni nalo msebenzi.
En as jy kos maak, vat jy parafin.
Ja, parafin.
En die kersse vir jou lig.
Ja.
Okay, en die water?
Daar wie
Die boorgat. Nie toilet nie. Jy brand self die vuil goed. Jy brand homself, net daar agter. En 'n telefoon, jy gaan by die poskantoor. Baie dankie, hoor.
Not only have we run this thing on the presumption that failure is not an option, but that as a matter of fact, failure is not a possibility. Why? Because things could go awry in 80 or even 800 enumerator areas, and that will still be 0.1 or 1% of our total problem. And we know we are running in 99% plus of our enumerator areas. The isolated incidents, which are what makes such photogenic TV coverage, have not the slightest dent on the success or the timing of the overall operation, come what may.
Ja, I can just expect it. Illegal aliens were a real problem because the minute you knocked on their door, the door was closed forever, it was locked. Or they would tell you that the legal occupants of the household are unavailable, they're just passing. And then when you come back the next day or a few hours later, you will find an unoccupied dwelling.
Mani vito ra n'wina? Mina Philip Raul Samba. Philip Raul Samba.
Raul?
Yeah, Raul. Tira nsikamlungu. Mara vito la kwanti. Ayo atanyika phepha lapho.
Some of them, they haven't got ID with them. So that is why they run away. I think maybe that is why they run away. But we try to explain to them that we're not the police, we just want to count. Morning, guys. Yeah, it has been explained. You know what?
And Mashiko Paul. I'm a male, it's obvious. I was born nationality of citizenship, I'm a South African.
And your highest level of education?
I got matric.
Some of the people, first of all, they don't have access to media, you see. They can't buy newspapers, they don't have radios, TVs, you see. So they know nothing about census. In such cases, you are expected to start from the scratch and explain to the people about census, you see. And the other problem is that there are a lot of foreigners here, especially here in Hillbrow, you see. Some of them, they can't give you accurate information about their whereabouts, you see, where they are coming from, you see. Some of them, they pretend to be South Africans, whereas they are not South Africans, you see.
You're only one person. And date of birth? Date of birth. Date.
Your date of birth? Yeah, 16 July.
July is
7 months.
7 months, yes. Then the year?
1909.
1909.
Yes. I'm old.
09. And then how old are you now? Your age?
Oh, well, we stood down from 1909. 9.
Okay, I only late.
I got my 70s. No, 87, isn't it? Something like that.
Dat is net die een kamer wat het, né? Jullie die kamer met enige aanreishoudings? Nee.
Nee.
Is u Afrikaans, kleurling, Indiër of blank?
Ik ben...
I think we've just adopted a very simple strategy. That you go house to house where we feel that we are not accepted. Then we will simply sign a form and say, this is why we're not accepted. But where we are accepted, we are going to enumerate people. And I think in a lot of houses, we are going to be accepted.
And finally, even Nebo was counted.
The only thing that I'm doing now is just to monitor the situation, see how it goes. Make sure everything is fine, then I can continue, go to another area and check whether the enumeration goes right. So like this one is busy. Seems as if everything is fine. Hello, Mr. Lawot, how are you? Fine. I'm right now I'm at Chief Ratawani's place and everything is fine, there's no problem. The enumerators are enumerating normally. It's one enumerator per EA. So we don't even need any security yet. So it's only Tafelkop and Lufontaine that we must concentrate on.
Sê vir my, wat taal praat u die meeste in die huis? Afrikaans. Praat u enige ander tale? Engels en Zulu. En die vrou? Net Engels Afrikaans. Goed, kan jy mooi hoor, kan jy mooi sien? En jou arms en jou bene is alles reg, né? Goed, is so. Leef jou ma en pa nog?
Okay, so ek maar vir u interview, né? Wat is die adres van die huis?
As net kry maar net paternoster.
Is hy nie nommers of
Nee,
so?
ons het nie huisnommers nie.
As dit. So waar kom julle se pos dan?
Hier laat die winkel toe by die kafee.
Geen gestremdhede nie, fisies
Niks.
of gehoor, niks, niemand nie.
Gehoor, ja. Nee.
Net as die vrou roep.
Nee, ek was in 'n landmyn ontploffing.
O.
You do speak Tamil sometimes.
Yeah, I speak.
Not at home, but you respond to all the people with Tamil language. The children only speak English, right?
Yeah, only Hindu.
The religion that you belong to, Hindu faith.
Yeah, we are neighbors.
Home language? Home language Persian.
Persian.
Ali. Ali. Muhsen. Muhsen. M-O-H-S-E-N-I.
Ali
Muhsen. M-O-H-S-E-N-I. S-E-N-I.
Oh.
I think the census finally was a decisive success. Firstly, in the buy-in of people who helped us design it and get it out on the ground. Secondly, in the overwhelmingly enthusiastic response from the enormous majority of South Africans to this enterprise, their readiness to participate and be counted. And thirdly, as a result of those two, in the validity of the numbers. For the first time, New South Africa has got a fine-grained picture from every village or suburb or metropole of the distribution of characteristics across those areas, the entire population obtained in a uniform and transparent fashion. That, for me, is a success.
People believe that the government know that they are there, know that they are the needy people, know what they need. Then the hopes are there that their prayers will be heard by the government.
From this process, I think above all, one has learned that the South Africans, once they have put their minds to things to work, they actually make it work. The ability to break the door and say, I will be involved, that ability is there and it cannot be stopped.
People can say